Okay, so welcome everyone. This is our final class of our Sacred Geometry Level 1 and Level 2. It's been 8 weeks of some pretty beautiful explorations and connections. And I know we've got a lot of people joining us on the replay. And I want to say it's been wonderful to have everyone, to be with everyone in this journey. And I look forward to hearing how things are going for everybody. So we'll do a little check-in in a minute, but we'll do our drop-in meditation. And I just had the funniest little moment blip into my head where I was like, oh, great, I'll just listen to the meditation. So wait a minute. So, okay, I will listen as well. So let's just have that delicious moment of bringing our attention inward and having some nice deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouths. Just letting go of the day and bringing your awareness to this present moment with every breath. Connecting with your body, connecting with the environment, the room, just tuning into all of the sensory inputs, breathing into that expanded awareness. Connecting with the many aspects of yourself that go undetected and unrecognized, but still active in our fields, our energy body, our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our spirit, our senses, just breathing and remembering the vastness of who we are. Using the breath to simultaneously activate our systems and also relax. Sinking into the surface supporting you, opening your lungs. Be feeling into all of the support that is available in the seen and unseen realms, all of the forces bringing us here today in service of our expansion, in service of us remembering who we truly are. Breathing that support in, feeling that it supports the visible, the invisible, the imagined, the real. And take some nice deep breaths into your heart, just having a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to be with this experience, with ourselves, with each other, with our breath, with our bodies. So much to be grateful for and thankful for. As you're ready, come on back to our virtual space. Oh my goodness. Just a miracle to show up sometimes. Hey, Kaori, welcome. So let's do our check-in. Greta, you had already shared some drawings, so I hope you'll share them again and in your check-in. And okay, you want to go for it and jump right in and just say hello? And feel free to repeat yourself, even though you said some things. I'd love for everyone to hear how you're doing. All right, and you're on mute, so we'll get you off mute. Look at this beautiful drawing.
So I did this
Yeah.
in a different meeting. I was, it would stand out more if I outlined the colors in black, I think. But just playing with color patterns and
beautiful.
going for it. So it's all good.
you've got the 3 axes, right? You've got the vertical and the black, and then is it green and yellow, and then the diagonals, yeah, blue and yellow.
It's
Love
blue and
it.
yellow, and then I have orange and green, and I put orange in the inside, and then I didn't really like that, but it doesn't really matter because, it's just, it's
Yeah.
just power.
Well, and you did it, like,
I did
just
it.
getting the, just, it's like yoga, right? Like just getting on the mats. It's, that's the act of engagement, right? Beyond what we do, whatever we do on top of it is gravy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting the compass on the paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And I'm really glad you're feeling better. That's just crummy to be sick. And so back up in the action. All right.
Greta, I have to comment, your artwork made me think of a quilt. It made me feel kind of cozy. It made me feel, it's beautiful. And my sister does quilting, and it made me think of fabric or something. So it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah. My mother's family did a lot of quilting. So yeah, thanks.
Oh, Leanne, you want to continue on there? How are you doing?
I can. For some reason this week, I wasn't really inspired to do a lot of drawing, but I also know my personality, and I know I need to do class prep before I come in. I've got to do something. So today I went to YouTube. I knew that the 64 is pretty detailed, and I can get kind of lost. So I found a YouTube today, and so I did a mini.
Oh my Lord, that's so small. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like extra credit being that small. Wow.
Well,
impressive.
It wasn't, I just guessed at it because the YouTube was just showing you, but I wanted to go through the steps. And right off the bat, then I needed to practice my seed because I was sideways with the seed, and so that kind of messes with your brain. So anyway, I'm really excited to do it tonight, and yeah, it was kind of fun. I remembered part of it, and part of it I didn't.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun. It was good. It was a good way to warm up.
So did you follow along with the video with every line? Is that how you did it, or were you just remembering, or how was it?
Oh no, I remembered part of it, but I was following the video.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't. I'm excited to do it your way. It was just showing, and I thought, well, anyway, I was glad because it's fairly detailed, and if like someone like I can get, if I don't see it, if I can't see the shape, then I get kind of lost. So
yeah, I am so impressed that, especially that it's smaller. I mean, you've got it there. That's
it's a mini. So and I have to comment, you're in a different spot.
I am. Yep, I'm up visiting my folks in Seattle. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I made it. Okay, well, brilliant. I'm glad you're not feeling like, oh, I'm done with that, and you still want to do one. So that's great. We'll do a nice big one. And that is so funny with the angle, because I have a bunch of these classes, and I was with someone on Monday, and we started with the seed, and it was like this, and the whole thing was so disorienting because she didn't want to, for whatever reason, she didn't want to like just adjust the paper so it was on the vertical. So it was all like, it felt like, oh, yep, this is an off day, so somehow. So that's so funny that you have that too.
Is there, I didn't think about it on the first one, and then I was trying to make sure and measure, is there a method because I feel like I feel like I was fairly consistent.
Method in what regard?
Just, trying to measure each time before, getting an eyeball. I didn't know if I should be, I really wanted it straight. Should I be measuring with it on the paper like this? Or do you know what I mean? Is there a way? I sharpened my pencil, just trying everything. So,
I'm a little lost. Do you mean in the measurement that you start out with, or what's the pencil? Oh, do you mean the precision?
I want my petals parallel.
Oh, the trick to that is that when you do your first circle, you start right at the vertical bottom.
Okay.
And if you want to use your ruler to get that right, but that's where it starts off, is if you just start a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. And that's the only thing. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
Yep. It's a simple fix. So it's good to know. Thanks, because I don't think we'd cover that. So that's a bonus to learn by your example. It's appreciated. All right. Kaori, how are you?
Good. I was a little bit under the weather last week, so I didn't get to do the last week's, but I'm excited for this one.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, me too. This is honestly one of my favorites. I say that almost every class. So I'm glad you look like you're feeling better and you wouldn't have made it to class. So Greta was also not feeling well and sick this last weekend. So it's definitely that change of season, like, I mean, and now what's happened is I've been in Sedona for 3 years and I'm pretty acclimated down there. And it's, oh my God, it's so beautifully moist and cold. And it's that place where it just catches you without enough clothing because it's colder than you think. And so, and being on an airplane, like I'm a little sniffly too, and just, okay, here we go into winter. My God, it starts getting dark at 4:30. I mean, my God, it's just outrageous. So, our bodies make that transition for us sometimes. So here we are with our last class. It always surprises me. And then we've all come through the 8 classes, which is, I don't know. I wish I knew how to, I mean, there's no way to not end. So it's just, we had I taught one of my crop circle classes, and it was an 8-week long, and we just didn't want to stop. So we just kept going with the crop circles for another month. So I know at some points I've avoided goodbyes, but it's really been such a joy to have all of you to be along for the ride with all of you for the last 8 weeks. And we've got transitional objects, right? We've got our drawings, and we'll get back into, whenever you look back, you've got your PDFs, so we can, hopefully you've got everything you need to keep drawing, but please, do be in touch if you forget something or need anything. And I do love to see drawings. Greta, you've sent me a couple and I really love that. And Leanne, you've sent me a few. I love it. Makes my day. Any thoughts or questions before we get into the 64? I figured we're going to do 2 of them today, and I figured we'd just give ourselves some spaciousness, but since there's just the 4 of us, I maybe we'll just do a little review of the significance of the 64. We'll just look at the PowerPoint just to remember like the universality of this number and how totally significant is that there's 64 tetrahedron structures and 64 codons in our genetic structure. Like, that is a really big deal. There's like absolutely no coincidence about that. There's a direct relationship. 64 hexagrams in the I Ching. Like, this is a fundamental entry point into understanding our consciousness. I don't know that I need to open up the whole PowerPoint, but just to talk about it for a minute. We've done the flower of life, we've done Metatron's cube, and this really kind of feels like the all-encompassing versions of it, right? So we're going to draw the 3D version of it. We're going to draw the 2D version of it. I think we'll do the 2D. It's always kind of a rock, paper, scissors. Does anybody have a vote? Because it's so arbitrary. Does anybody have a preference as to which one we start with? Because literally it's just 6-1.
No real preference, but I guess my question is are we going to be erasing again, or because I always put my point down through, and so if that influences what we start with, then
we are not going to be erasing. No, but you do want 2 separate pieces of paper for them.
Okay.
I
can do that.
Okay, and actually you will be putting the points in the exact same spot for both geometries. So if we're on one and you're putting the spot, 7 points down for the circles. It's the same, it's rooted in the same geometry, the next page.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's the kind of thing where, Leon, did the person on YouTube go through the seed of life, or did he start a different way?
No, did the seed.
Okay.
Yeah, did the seed, and then there was just music, right? So there
Yeah.
wasn't any direction or anything, but it showed the shapes as we were going, and
Right.
so that's how that one
Okay.
went.
And were you in the classes where I taught the 3D version through, like without the seed, but through an equilateral triangle? Did I do that? Did we do that together, or have we done the seed the whole time?
I think we've done the seed when
Okay.
I've done it.
Okay. I used to teach it through an equilateral triangle where you're literally just drawing a triangle on the paper and then going from there with no seed. But I think it is so cool to just see that every single shape comes from the seed of life. I mean, and there's no way to really grok that at the beginning of the 8 weeks, but it's just so amazing that it just gives us the coordinates for everything. So, okay. I think we'll just get into drawing, and then we can finish up with some closing thoughts, and that gives us time because you never know quite how long it's going to take. I'm getting that we'll start with the 2D and then we'll do the 3D. All right.
Great.
So, we are going to use a measurements of 2.5 inches. So that's going to be our radius, and that'll give us a 5-inch diameter. And I think it is good to measure to the vertical center of the page. So, using your ruler on the vertical, finding the 5.5-inch mark, because I've made this geometry as big as you can go without going off the page. So it's pretty tight. So you want to find that center. And then, wow, that's a really big ruler, Kaori. I love that. So we've got, and we all have the 11 by 14 or bigger. So, Kaori, are you going to be doing a very huge shape that you have that ruler, or what size are you going to do? And you're muted, so.
I can go bigger, but I'm just using the normal, slightly bigger than everybody's paper.
Okay, yeah. What is that? That looks like maybe a 23 by, do you know what it is?
12 by 18.
Oh gosh, it looks so much bigger. Okay. Right. So these are 11 by 14. So that vertical is still going to be pretty tight. So you might want to use the same measurement. Yeah. But it is really fun to do a really big one. So, all right. So 2.5 inches. And I will say, draw it light, draw your seed nice and light. We're not going to erase it. You'll see it'll disappear underneath. Well, it won't disappear, but you will.
Well, in that case, I'm going to do a really big one.
Oh, yay. Okay. Yeah. Yes, that's fun. I look forward to seeing that. So that's a really big paper. So you could probably do like at
18 by
least
24. So
what is it?
18 by 24. Can I double?
Yeah, no, you don't want to double. Maybe, so we're at 11 and that's 18. I think the most you would want to go would be 4, and even that might be off you're safe with 3.5, but so 11 by 8, try 4. And I think that might give you the biggest, give it a try. I think that'll stay on an 18 page. I love it that you got a huge pad of paper. That's so great.
Be on the ground though.
Yeah. And so, but your compass should open to 4 inches, right? You can do, okay, great.
So.
Yeah. All right. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So great. Yeah. I think 4 inches you'll be able to stay on but just make sure you measure to the 9-inch points. Otherwise, if you eyeball that, you might go off the page. So we've got our seed of life. And of course, just remembering that so many levels of drawing are possible. You can just do, oh, here's some circles, but you can also incorporate the breath, because we don't breathe in our lives. We just breathe so shallow. So there's a practice of doing one circle and taking a breath and just bringing your full consciousness into the process, right? I mean, the instructions alone, following line by line, that helps. But when you're on your own, just this is a shape that can match you in whatever depths you want to go to in terms of presence and activation. And so, that's part of why I can do the classes, is because if somebody's already got the seed and we're, waiting for someone else to come up a little bit slower, the meditation option is always there because of, the harmonics, the symmetry, such a beautiful shape to just sit with for a minute, and our lives are so fast. Everything moves so fast that just taking the time to slow down and breathe is, even for a minute, it can be really powerful. So, Kaori, I don't want to rush you. Are you going to be on the floor or on your easel?
I'm gonna, make this into a desk, so I'll be like slightly behind, but I will catch up.
Okay. Well, I don't want to. Okay. We'll give you just another minute because we go into things line by line and it can get a little bit carried away. I don't want to leave you behind with the lines. Oh, I really like that easel. Oh my gosh, that's a fabulous thing. I used to go into people's houses when they were building the houses, and for a while I was just all over Portland. I was just proselytize about geometry, and I'd be like, oh my God, it's so amazing. And so everybody would just buy in. And then, I mean, not that that's because of me, but everybody was getting, how amazing it was. And so I had a bunch of friends that were either building structures in their gardens or, who were remodeling their homes. And I would go in and paint like a flower of life before they put the flooring on. So it was just all juiced up with the geometry, and then in different gardens, with permaculture, you can build your gardens, in the harmonics with the geometries. And so it's a really fun way to anchor the energy, is to put it in structures. And so I loved making them very big. So I'm excited, Kaori, that you have the ability to do that.
I don't want to make people wait, so I'll be on the ground.
Okay, we'll do it that way. Okay, so you're able to do your seed super quick and measure into 9 inches on your page, and then we'll get going. So, and also nice and light with your seed. So we've got what do we have? This beautiful hexagonal structure. And what the really cool thing is that with both the 2D and the 3D, because we've got 6 sides, we're going to be cutting it in half, which means we do it 3 times, right? So we'll have a vertical axis and then 2 diagonals. And it's so cool because you'll see we'll get the same step again and again and again, just on different axes. So it gets familiar and fun. And we're going to start by drawing a vertical line, right? They're going to use the petals, right? We're going to go through the shape. We're going to bisect it, and we're going to stop and start at the edge of the shape, right? And I think I love the lines. I think on some level I'm at least 51.49% towards the lines. It just depends on what mood I'm in. But take a moment with precision on these if you'd like to. Obviously, perfect and perfect, but I've given the red dots. You'll see a lot of intersection points, and you can use those to put your pencil down. And just an extra moment, since there's a small amount of us, we can do that. So we've got the vertical axis. We've got this perfectly bisecting line, and then we're going to do the same thing on the right of it. So using the divots on the outer circles as your guide, and then you're going to be touching the 2 internal petals, the tips of them. And then we've got the center line, we've done the right line, the right side, and then we're gonna bop over to the left side and do the same thing over there. Okay, so we've got center, right and left, and we've done that on the vertical axis. All right, and now we're gonna do it on the diagonal axis, right? So exact same step. You're gonna go to the left diagonal, bisect the shape through the petals, right? And then it's going to be the same thing when we've got that center line, and then we're going to go just above it, and we'll use those divots to make that straight line. The thing about this, the 2D, the kind of the only thing is to tune into where the line stops and starts, because just a little extension past where we want to be and it'll take out the dimensionality. So we've got center line, the line above it, and then same pattern, we're going to go just below it and connecting the divot points just below that diagonal bisecting line. Yeah. All right. Kaori, you're not drawing, so where are you? Are you up to the, are you all set with it? Okay, thumbs up. All right, so now we're all on the same page. Okay, great. So vertical right, now we're going to do, sorry, that was the left. Now we're going to do the right axis, bisecting through that diagonal through the petals. Right, on the other axis. And then that same step, we're going to do another line above it. And I can see everybody today on the gallery panel, so just let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. Just speed it up. But I would recommend that you stay with me because it's easy to get off on the steps. All right, so we got that. Looks good. Groovy. Okay, so now we're gonna do, just like with Metatrons, we're gonna do a tetrahedron. So you're gonna start connecting the tip, the top of the bisecting line down and across to the bottom right end point of the bisecting line. And then you're gonna draw a base, right? And we're going like basically tip of each bisecting line to tip, right? So the outer circles, you've got your right base, and then, although that's the left and the base, and then you're going to finish that upward facing triangle. So we've got our 64 star tetrahedron, right? So we're going to build the first larger star tetrahedron. So we've got the upper facing tetrahedron. And then of course, we're going to do the matching downward facing tetrahedron. And I don't want to assume you're all cooking right through, right? But we're just connecting the other 3 open points on the downward facing tetrahedron, right? You could call them triangles, but I really like to get the like 3D language going, because in truth, this isn't just a 3D shape. I mean, we get a little tripped up by the 2D in front of us. Really, it's 3D, and really it's multi-D, right? This is a multi-dimensional shape that is the construct of the fabric of space-time, right? This thing is unreal in terms of the quantum field. Like, we're basically drawing the structure of the quantum field. That's what we're doing. And this, so we've got our upward facing and downward facing triangles. And this is such a fun shape because you could stop right here and draw and have beautiful patterns, right? Like the quilters are ahead of us. I'm sure that this, is somewhere in some beautiful blanket. So I was going to say quilt, and then that just so redundant. Everybody got our Merkaba in here. We've got our star tetrahedron. Okay, beautiful. So now we're going to do a smaller one inside, right? If you remember with Metatrons, it's, as above, so below. We've got the larger one on the outside. You can start with this diagram seems to start with a downward facing one, right? So just that upper horizontal line, and then connecting the That's the right axis, and then we're going to do the left axis, just using the internal petal tips.
I'm sorry, I don't know where I went wrong, but it is pretty off.
Okay.
I called, but
Can you hold it up and show me what you've got?
well, I did it really faint, so I don't know if you can see it. but-
Okay.
So the triangle's edge is not, edges, triangle lines are not meeting.
Okay.
A little bit.
I can see your seed, but I can't see your lines. So the triangle, say it again.
Triangle's lines are not meeting at the corner. I don't know why.
They want to end on the inside of the circle, right? Your line, you don't want the tip of the triangle to be outside of the circles.
Oh, okay, so I just start from where okay.
Yep. You want the bisecting lines, you want them to be ending. The triangles are going to stay within the circles, right? So you're just matching up the outer tips.
Oh,
You don't want to extend it beyond the circles.
got
Is
it.
that, yeah?
I think that'll fix it.
Okay, yeah. So just using the bisecting lines and the tips to the big upper facing triangle there. Yes, you're staying in the seed, which is a great, it's nice because the geometry just shows us the way. It's got all the coordinates, you know. So then you'll have your upward facing triangle. Did that fix the problem? No? Oh, how is the code? Let's see, let's just see it again. We can get this. All right, but you're still muted, so. Okay.
Okay, so my triangle,
Mm-hmm.
the edge is here. When the circle is here, or this one, and for this, the edge is here.
So you want the edge of those lines, the center lines, you want them to just end at the circle. You don't want those
Yeah.
lines to extend beyond the circle.
But this line, for example, this goes like this. It's intersecting the flower.
Yep.
But it doesn't meet.
Well, the central lines, those are the ones you want to prioritize. And then, okay, don't move, I can see it. Just don't move. Do you have your central lines? Do you have all the 3 lines that are bisecting each petal? You don't want that one. No. Do you have the center lines? I don't think you have the central lines.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you want, so let me just tell you what I want you to have. So this one, so you want these big lines to be cutting through the center of the petals. I don't know that you have those. You've got that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want the vertical, and then you want the ones that cut the petals on the diagonals.
I feel like my circles are not well aligned. Maybe that's the problem. The first.
Okay. Did you do the seed? That, you know,
Yeah.
did your things, everything lined up?
Okay, yes. My circles are not aligned because I have the center line, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Yep, that's perfect.
triangle's top, so it's off.
Yep, you just,
I'm
yep.
through the center, but the bottom again, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like you have it right. The vertical line's gonna stop and start at the perimeter of the circles,
Okay.
and it goes through the petals. It looks right to me.
Maybe it's just a little bit off, and because it's big, the gap is getting big.
Maybe, yeah. So I could see the vertical. Do you have the, wondering if it's too late to start on a smaller one. I don't think we want to do that. So you have, I see the vertical. Do you have the two diagonals as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay. We will get there, everybody. We'll come together. It's, no, you're fine. It's nice. We have a little bit more spaciousness as we don't have like 14 people, so it's great to take the time. Will you
This
uh-huh.
the bottom, it's strange. Here and here. It should meet at the edge of the circle, right? Like here, but it's meeting here.
Your top looks misaligned. The left side is to the left of the bisecting line by a centimeter, and that'll throw everything else off. Do you see it on the top where you're starting like a little bit?
Yep.
You know, my guess is, however fun it is to try to do a big one, is that it is making a little harder.
Yeah.
So and since we've given it a good try, I want to suggest maybe because we do want everybody to keep going. Greta, what's your thumbs up to?
I think it might be worth her drawing a smaller one in so we can continue.
Yeah.
And then doing a big one.
Yeah.
Another time.
Yeah. Kaori, do you think we can do it pretty quick?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
I want to say you can keep going and I will catch up.
okay. The other thing that I'm inspired to say is, even if your inclination is to do the lines a little bit light, maybe do them a little darker so that if we're looking up, we can, not just you, everybody, so that if we're doing a repair, that you can see the lines a little easier. So
That's true.
yeah.
It was a little bit confusing for me too, like, oh, what am I looking at, but
yeah. Let me here, I want to do this really quick and then we'll get right back into it. So in the chat, I can put an attachment, and I'm gonna put the PDF for you. I'm gonna send you the PDF so that you could maybe look on another window and where is it? Follow along, because you are a couple of steps behind. So I want to give this to you.
Thank you, and thank you, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so hopefully you can just open that up in a second. I don't know why it's.
No worries. I've been there, so I understand. I've got lots of patience.
Yep, it looks like it'll take a second. It's a larger file, so but it is happening. So so you will have that, Kaori, to catch up, and then we're not that far ahead, but we will go on. I imagine you could catch up. It's just loading. So I think if I go back to screen share, it'll still keep loading. So then I think that that you both probably have your upward facing and downward facing triangles in the center, correct? Are we all here? Do we have this shape by now? Yep. Okay. Figured you guys went ahead with that. You've got the outer star tetrahedron and you've got the inner star tetrahedron, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
it's worth restarting, just because when you get off at this point, then it's off forever.
Yeah, and it is super fun to do the just, this is a good learning for me for I think for future where if it is so fun to do a big one, but it's probably best to just get the muscle memory of the first one and then play around with making it bigger. So, all right. Did that PDF come through at all, Kaori, or not so much? You're just going to do it. You could, yep, just however you want to do it. So this is a fun enough place to stop. Okay, so next step, I think now we're going to build the hexagon. So we're going to do a perimeter. Oh yeah, Kaori, were you going to say, did you? Okay.
Wait. Okay,
There you
now
go.
I got the PDF.
Okay, great, great. So then you can use that to catch up. So we're going to do a hexagonal boundary, right? We're basically going to be connecting the star points, which is equal to the divots on the circles, right? So we're just going around the outer points. And we're going to give the 6 sides some form, right? So there's the bottom horizontal, and it is just the divots, right? It's from divot to divot on the circles. And then up above, I love this one. I did 2 steps at once, but you basically, by now you have the pattern of finding the hexagon. And then, wow, I really did that 2 steps at once in a funny way. Okay, so there we've got, and if you can shift your gaze a little bit, you could probably find the vector equilibrium that we just drew, right? So you can see the 2 rectangle sides that are kind of on a slant, and then the bottom one that is also on a downward facing slant. And it takes a minute, but it's always fun to play with your perceptual intake with the geometries because there's so much happening in here.
Can we go back? I seem to missed. Okay.
Where do you want me to go back to? We here?
Maybe one more.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do the right side as I'm looking at the screen. So maybe one more back.
Here we go. Yep. Oh, up here, the right side.
Let's see. So I've got that. I've got that. I'm a little confused.
I think you want this one, which is going up on the diagonal from the base. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then this next one, which is on the right diagonal, right? So that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that looking good? And then top right horizontal.
Yes.
Full hexagon. Great. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So we've got that boundary. And what are we doing now? There's that last step. Boy, those are out of sequence. Okay. So we're going to start. I'm going to come out of the screen share for a second. So we're going to start. We're going to start the process of building the grid, right? And so each segment is going to be equidistant, and we will draw a line. There will be a pre-existing line. We'll stop over that. We're going to draw another line, a pre-existing line. So that pattern all the way across the shape, and then we'll do it on the horizontal, and then we'll do the same thing on the other axis, right? So it's going to be the whole thing. It's going to start to get familiar by the second time around. Kaori, how are you doing? You have the base or, okay, great. Great, okay. Here we go. So we've got this smaller sort of diamonds-like shape on the right upper side. We're going to draw a diagonal line from the tip to the other tip of that diamond, right? So this little line that goes over that bisecting line, right? So that's the first smaller line. Now what you can see here is the actual hexagon boundary is I think it's 2 centimeters. Then the next line that we have, which is the tetrahedron boundary, that's equidistance away. And now we're going to skip over that big line that we have already equidistantly, and we're going to draw this line. Now, the thing you want to really pay attention to are the stopping and starting points. So you want to stop at the boundary of the hexagon on the top where it intersects with that central bisecting line. You don't want to go all the way to the outer boundary. You want to stop shy at that intersection point. And then same thing on the bottom. You want to stop at the intersection of the hexagon and that central line, right? So just shy of that outer boundary. And then you can see we've got the next line equidistantly from that. So we're going to hop over that one. We all ready to do that? I don't want to rush you. Okay. Got that one. Stopping and starting at those 2 points. Yep. All right. Leanne looking good. Greta's got it.
I'm good now. I'm caught up.
Okay. All right. Kiara, are you catching up? Is feeling okay? All right. So we're going to skip over this center tetrahedral line. And then we're going to draw the next one and just take a peek at the intersections, right? Same thing. You're stopping shy of the outer boundary. You're going to use that intersection just before the hexagon boundary. And that'll be your starting and stopping point on both ends, right? It's that intersection just before the outside boundary. And I've put the red points to show you all the cross sections that, the intersections that are already there. So we got that line. And I think this is the most satisfying one this next time. We're going to do another center bisecting line, right? So it's going to go through the center of the shape from hexagon point to hexagon point, which is also the petal divot that I always talk about. So we're at center bisecting line, and then we're going to go the next one down. Yeah, Carrie, are you coming off mute or are you looking at something else? Okay. We got that center one now set. Thumbs up. Okay, great. So center line, we're going to go equidistantly next, right? Down to the below that. And again, you want to start and stop at that intersection shy of the outer boundary. Doing that gives us the dimensionality, right? If you overshoot the mark and you extend all the way to the hexagon boundary, it's a cool shape, but you're going to lose the 64, the dimensions of the different tetrahedrons. We got that one. Okay. So then we've got this pre-existing smaller line, which is one of the inner triangles. We're going to skip over that one. And here we've got another, a similar length that stops and starts at the bisecting line and the hexagon boundary, right? So you're not going all the way to the star tetrahedron boundary. You're stopping just shy. And it's nice because there's an intersection that shows you where to stop and start. You don't have to guess at it. And then we've got that same, like the long tetrahedron side. So we're just skipping over that. And then here's that small segment again, parallel, but on this side of the center line. So we've just made this beautiful equidistant grid on the left diagonal axis. And I'll do a thumbs up when we're all ready to go. Thumbs up, is that okay? That was like a sideways thumb. All right. And Greta, you good? And Kaori's looks good. All right. Greta, was that? I didn't catch your. Okay, thumbs up. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing on the second axis, which is going to be starting at the bottom. Going to be same step, right? Cutting that diamond in half, tip to tip. Small segments. Again, always an intersection showing you where to go. Then you've got that larger boundary line. So we're going to jump over that. And just inside of that, here's those the intersections of the bisecting line and the hexagon on both the top and bottom. So much lovely symmetry that you like it starts to feel familiar, right? We're just doing the same step again and again and on different axes. And you've got this next line equidistantly above that.
Oh, there it is.
Righto. Yep. Okay. Right above that. Here's those intersections. You're stopping just shy of that outer hexagon boundary. Right. Line segment by line segment. We've got that one. Okay. Okay. Got it. Now we're going to jump over that and we're going to draw that nice central bisecting line from hexagon tip to hexagon tip. Nice and satisfying all the way to the ends. No need to pay attention, just point to point. Going through the center of the flower, right? Okay. Good. Yes. All right. Reflective look back. All right.
Wait,
So
I need 1 minute. I need
Okay.
1 minute.
Great. Do you want me to go back at all?
Nope.
That was a nope or a yep? Nope.
No,
Okay.
something's up.
All right. You want to show me? We can see where we're at? Or do you got it?
Go for it.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want a backup view or do you feel solid and we'll go ahead?
I'm good.
Okay, great. So nicely done. So here's our center line. We're going to go right above that. I feel like an airline stewardess. Here we are. The exit rows are all right. So right above that, we've got the intersections there, just the stop and start point. Yep. Airline stewardesses are awesome. It's flight attendants now, right? We don't say stewardess anymore. So you live long enough, all of the terminology changes, right? So here's this line, and then you can see we've got the smaller one. The reason I build it the way that I do is because these smaller ones get really hard to find on the next axis, right? So there's the smaller one, skip right over that. And then it's bisecting line down to bisecting line, right? So hexagon boundary where it intersects with the bisecting line. Very good. Greta, is it making, are you following? Is it good? You've got some.
Yeah,
okay.
I have them.
Okay, great. So we've got this line, then we've got that outer tetrahedron. We're going to skip over that one. And here's that small step of cutting that diamond. I call them diamonds. You can call them kites, whatever you prefer. We will refer back to them again one more time. All right. So that was right and left axis. Now we're going to do horizontal. I'll wait till I get the go ahead from everybody to start on the next axis. Hey, Artie, how's it going? Are you able to come? Oh, nicely done. Yeah, exquisite. Okay, thumbs up. Great. Nice deep breath as we go into the next axis. We're halfway there, halfway through. So intersecting, here we go, the top diamonds, that small segment we start off with. And then we can right next to that upper base of the tetrahedron, we're gonna skip that one. And then our next step is bisecting line to bisecting line, right? Stopping at that intersection shy of the outer boundary, right? That's going to give us the definition for the 64 tetrahedrons. And then we've got the next smaller line below that already. We're going to skip over that. And it's actually the same step, but just, one step below, using those intersection points to sharpen up the shape, right? Not extending all the way. And then we're going to do the central, right? Hexagon point to hexagon point right through the center of the shape. What I love, like on this third axis, is you start to get all these really cool intersection points. And we're just creating all sorts of small hexagons and little star points, and starts to come together. So we've got that horizontal line. Everybody good? Are we all together on this? We're set? Okay. There's that one. That looks like one. All right, we got that center line. Yeah, all right, looking good. Yeah. Thumbs up on that, Leanne. Okay, awesome. Then we're going to go right below that. Similar step where we're starting and stopping just shy, keeping the shape inside the boundary. Same step again and again. Then we've got this lower segments below that, a little bit smaller. And then there's our last larger line. Bisecting line to bisecting line with the hexagon boundaries, and we stop and start there. Watch your shoulders, watch your elbows, watch your shoulders, watch your elbows. It's just like there's just that like sing-song happy flight attendant presentation, and I'm just sort of feeling like that. Stop and start. So just below that is our smaller last segment of the grid, cutting that diamond tip to tip. And this is such a cool shape right here. Like we could stop with this and it's really fantastic. But we're going to do just 6 more steps. All right, we're ready for that. So these diamonds that I keep referring to, we're going to use those. Oh, I think we're doing, is that, yeah, sorry, it's a ghost hexagon step first. Okay, so on this upper left facing axis, I call this a ghost hexagon because basically this is a hexagon boundary, but you've left a segment open, right? So you're connecting on the top across these 2 diamonds. You skip the center tetrahedron and then you draw that line connecting the 2 points of that next diamond. So just take a look at it for a minute. You can find it. It's like you're drawing a whole line on a diagonal axis, but you're skipping that center part. Is that working out? I'm glad we went back to the smaller size, Carrie. I think this would be, it's good to do it on the set. I was ambitious and eager, and I love that you tried, and we'll do it the next time. All right, everybody got those lines? All right, so far so good. Now we're gonna go on the vertical axis, just as if we were going around like a hexagon. So it's same thing, drawing a line point to point, but skipping that internal space, right? This is gonna give us a super dimensionality, right? So it's a full line from point to point, just skipping that segment. And that's our vertical axis. And then we'll pivot again just below that to another right angle diagonal. So that next one looks like this down at the bottom. Just tell me if I go too fast. We got that one. There's 6 of them. Same step, a couple more times.
Please stop 1 second.
Yes. What do you need? Previous?
No.
Oh.
That.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can I show you mine?
Yes.
Something.
Yes.
This one. So I don't seem to have. So I thought it's this point, but that wouldn't make nice triangle. It doesn't have the height like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's short. I don't know what happened here.
Okay. Can you bring the paper up to the more to the camera?
So
Okay.
this
Mm-hmm.
this one has this much height,
Mm-hmm.
but this only has this much height.
Mm-hmm.
This triangle, if I were to do this.
Mm-hmm. So come up a little bit more closer to the camera and I'll tell you if we can do something different. Okay, now a little bit farther back. All right, bear with me. Let me just find a way to guide you. So come a little bit closer, even still. Are you drawing with a pen, my dear? My good, is that a pen?
No, pencil.
Okay, I was gonna say, wow.
Yeah, I'm not that brave.
Okay, so how, okay, I know what you need to do. I just can't find how to get you there. You are missing. That don't, it takes me a minute, so hang on. Okay, here's what you need to do.
Mm.
So on right above your hands, there are, yeah, right there. There's, you can see the divots of that circle right where your pen is. That's one divot, or you just pencil. That's a divot. Now go up diagonally to the upper divot, to the upper, like the circle divot, right? Just where the larger divot, where the circles, it's on the horizontal plane, right? So nope, to your, yes, go upwards to the horizontal, right? So you can look at it now because I can tell you what to do. So, so this is on the left side of your paper. We were just on the left side, correct?
That was the right side.
Okay, you're just missing a hexagon boundary. So use the divots of the circles and then draw a line from divot to divot, and that'll show you where to go.
Sorry, what's a divot?
Okay, where the circles come together, where the circles intersect, I call that a divot. So let me show me one more time. Come up to the camera one more time, and we'll find it. So on the bottom, on the right, yes, that intersection, that is the starting point, yes. And then go up to what would be up 3 o'clock on the horizontal line. So 3 o'clock on a clock, or is it 9? Okay, try 9 o'clock then. Yes, right there. You are going to connect those 2 points, and that will give you what you need to do this step. You're just going to draw a line from divot to divot, and that will give you what we need. That will give you the point that you need to do this next step. Did that work? Rock on. Okay. So then, so here we are. You've got that point now, right? Yep. There you go. Those will intersect. That gives you the stop and start point. We got that. Looks right. Okay. So then here we go. Here's the next axis going on the left diagonal. Same thing, skipping that inner segments. So it's perfect symmetry. We're just building the same shape up and around to give the horizontal and the right and the vertical and the left. All right, so we've got that axis, and then we're going to go vertical there on the left, doing that same step, skipping the inner segments and connecting those smaller lines. And if, you know, awesome if we got some precision, likely is not, you know, so just breathing in the imperfections. And then we're going to do that top diagonal as well. And just tell me if I've gone too fast. If we're all set. Okay. Greta's like, no, we're just hanging out. We're ready. I think there really is a meta message when we take time to make sure everybody's on the same page. So I'm always good with the effort, and we'll have plenty of time to do the
yeah, it's important to get everybody done.
Yeah, because it's easier and easier. I mean, that is the one thing where if I was walking around in a classroom, this would be so much easier, but there is a little bit of a delay in terms of like looking through the screen and like, okay, put your finger here. You know?
Yeah,
So,
and part of it is once you do it one place and you do it the next place, then you just keep going around.
Yep. So, does everybody have this so far? We've all got this shape. Brilliant. Okay, thumbs up. So we've got 6 more lines and then we're complete. All right, so this is going to be similar, right? We're using the intersections. The way I like to find this one is that here's we've got these diamonds, right? We've got these 6 diamonds on the outside. I keep referring to them. We're going to be connecting the tips of the diamonds across on a parallel. So using the tip of the diamond on the top, which is also an intersection, and then cutting your line down across to the tip of that diamond on the bottom. And it's the last intersection before the boundary. It's that step that we keep doing. We're just repeating it on a different axis. So we've got tip of a diamond to a tip of a diamond, and then there's that center bisecting line again. And looks like we've got that. We're going to skip to just the bottom, just below, and it's going to look like that. Right? Tip of the diamonds across to the tip of the diamonds. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, all right. Make sure. That's what I have. Heads are up, heads are down. Okay. We got that. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to do it on the vertical axis. Same step, tip of the diamonds, this intersection point down to the lower intersection point, stopping shy of that hexagon boundary. And you've got it on the left side of the center line. And once you've got that, you're just going to flip over and do it on the right side of that bisecting line. So same step, right? Diamond tip to diamond tip. Okay. How is it going, Leanne? You good? Looks like.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
awesome. Okay, and then we're just going to do that one more time on the left diagonal. So diamond tip intersection down and across to diamond tip intersection. And then you can jump below that large bisecting line and do the same thing from the diamond tip below that. And you can see the seed beneath it, but barely now. And you are complete with your 64 star tetrahedron. All right. So let's do a little show and tell, sharing. How are you? How's that? What's it look like? My goodness, take a breath into that grid.
The six-sided shapes really start to emerge as you do the last lines.
Yeah, right. Will you show us your 64?
I will. You might see my
Pull it back just a little bit. Yes. What are we seeing?
I think, what really shows is all the different hexagons in there.
Yep. Super fun to highlight those with color too.
Yeah, I bet they overlap and all sorts of stuff. So.
Were you going to say that we would see your imperfections up close?
Well, you could. I mean, they're there, but
Yeah, they're always there. But that is so beautiful, and I am always curious about how we each draw them, and it's good. Like your hexagons do stand out in that central one. It's great. Yeah. What do you think?
No, it was good.
Good. It's so much different than watercolor. I mean, because this flowing shape, and you've got these like grid lines, so it's fascinating.
Yeah, it fits with that. The symmetry. You do it once, and you do it all the other places, and so that makes it easy for me. That's but anyway.
Yeah. This is completely left brain lines and linear stuff tonight. So thank goodness it's based in the seed. All right. So Kiori or Leanne, how you doing? How'd it go? I think we all got it. We all got there. All right, Leanne, you won the off mute race there. All right.
Okay. Well, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, beautiful. Pull it back just a little bit. Oh, wait, no, too fast. Just pull back a little bit, and then stare at it.
I mean, I'm very satisfied. I got a little behind on one side, and I moved forward, and I feel
you got it.
I got it. I can see the shapes. I'm very pleased.
Yes, congratulations. Hang on one second. I'm roasting, and I have to unplug the heater. There we go. All right. satisfying in the symmetry, and it's 2 in one night, right? You did the
That's
small one and the
right.
large one, and that's brilliant. Love it.
That's right. Right. I
Yeah.
feel really good about it.
You should, I think you should. That's well done. Love it. Ah, thank you. I love how same shape, but everybody's always looks different, and your star points are super accentuated. I love that. So yes. Oh, you're popping in. Okay. Sort of look in pause moment. All right, you're good? Okay.
I'm good, but I do, it's really important because I got a little confused, is when you do the light, the light shadows and then the darker pencils. So in retrospect, I would have liked to have done it just a little bit darker so I could follow my patterns, because I got lost a couple times, but that's okay.
It's so, I mean, it's just so interesting. There's pressure, there's light pressure, there's heavy pressure, there's when you use color, there's the curious, which colors you choose. And then there's also, so there's pressure, less pressure, there's speed and slow. That's the other variable that I've seen is like really reflective of how the shape turns out versus, that's part of your character structure usually. All right. So, Kaori, how'd it go? Turned out?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody for sticking with me. And
Yeah.
I have something. I guess I was using the 3H pencil first, and I changed to 2B technical pencil. So you see some faint and some more prominent.
Oh, beautiful.
I would probably use the darker line from now on. I was a little bit like doing the light faint line phase because I wanted to color later. But if it's a little bit complicated, then it's important to get the shape down first.
Yep. And then you improvise, you just get that structure and then you can come back to it and switch up and play. That's the idea. Thank you. Perfect. Now we've got our hemispheres of our brains a little bit more aligned. We've got all this symmetry, so it might feel a little fuzzy. And in that state, we're going to do one more that's totally the same, but totally different. All right. So, yes, next page. And it's going to be exactly the same start is we're going to do the 2.5 inch. So your compass is going to change, stay the same, 2.5 inches on your radius. So that's going to give us 5-inch diameter circles. And I do think because we've opened it as wide as we can, that measuring to the center of the page is a smart thing on this one, because you don't want to, well, I mean, you would know off the bat if you were off the page, but you can also do your seed nice and light because it's the similar, it disappears, but the grid isn't nearly as big. And I usually end up erasing the seed on this one because it's a little bit easier than the grid we just built. But whatever you would like to do is available to you. Love this shape. I mean, honestly, I just never get tired of it because it just has that yummy, comforting feeling. I mean, it's also that, like, as the world gets more and more chaotic, this is a predictable shape every time. And I really love predictability. I don't get it too often. So, I mean, do we ever get, I don't know that we ever get it, even if we think we get it. And if you want to go super deep, right? Like every time we draw the seed, even though it's the same geometry, it's not the same geometry. So just launch on that tangent for a while. Everybody got their seed. I don't want to rush you. Never want to rush you. Always want to encourage the breathing and the pausing and the slowing down. My gosh, now we're going to go into the holidays and it's all just going to freak out. I mean, it's like even more important to breathe and slow down amidst the chaos of panic purchasing, right? I mean, I know, you know, we don't have to engage in that, but there's still this collective energy of like frenzy, you know, from all of our internal pressures and stories about holidays, and then, you know, shifting how we do it and how we want to do it. All right. Do we all have our seed? I talked about it now. Okay, there we go. So now it's going to be similar. You're going to see the exact same patterns because we're doing the same geometry, but a couple less lines, right? This is going to give us, we're going to do it this way to give us some dimension. So same step, cutting the shape in half. We're bisecting through the petals, right? So we're going to just, now you guys are pros. We're doing that on each axis, left, right, and vertical. And, you know, I'll send you the PDFs, so you'll have those. My goodness, if that heater's not going, it is so cold. Need to put a blanket on. It's been 75 and beautiful for the last month. We've had such an amazing October and November in Sedona. I don't know, it's probably like 45 degrees and damp, which, oh, it's so good. All my mucous membranes have filled up again. All right, right, left, center. Here's what we're doing now. We're building, I don't think we're doing the tetrahedron. We're going to do the base of a tetrahedron. I don't want to make any promises because this shape is different. So connecting bisecting line to bisecting line. But yes, we are creating that upward facing triangle. So tip to tip. And you would think that we were going to do that on the downward facing triangle, but we are not. So tell me when you've got this equilateral triangle. This is the shape where I really fell in love with math, because equilateral triangles are so cool. They helped me like understand proportion, and it just in a way that was so friendly. And I got into how cool it is, right? When you jump into not being afraid of it, but like really appreciating it, that's when you know you've crossed a platform. And I don't know if that's the right way to say it, threshold. And the sacred geometry helped me do that. Upward facing triangle, here we go. Then we're going to do one on the inside. We're going to match that with a perfect parallel, and the seed of light gives us the coordinates for the internal equilateral triangle, right? And just like on the 2D, these line segments are equally distributed, right? From the center to that internal triangle we just made, and from that triangle to this one, and then there'll be another one, divot to divot. And I love this, so beautiful. Just, you know, as above, so below. Here's all the metaphors. We've got that's brilliant. Now what we're going to do on the bottom, you know, and Kiori, I feel bad that I assume that everyone knows divot, but it's the divot, it's the intersection of the circles. So we're going to use those on the bottom to create a horizontal line down there. And then I think we're doing that all the way around. Yep, we're going to create a hexagon. Now, just pay attention on this step, right? Kind of like we did with the 2D, you're going to skip the segment of the triangle. So you could almost imagine that this line is going behind the triangle, right? So it's going to be these two line segments, and it goes intersection of the circle to intersection of the circle, and you skip that inner segment. And you're just on this shape, similar to the stop and start points before on the 2D. We're just going to be drawing these tiny line segments every time. So noticing, you know, not extending beyond those again with this shape. And then because we are drawing a hexagon, we're going to do that on the upper right. Woo, that was big. So I think I skipped ahead knowing that everybody would be fine with this step, but it was a little ambitious. So the next line is going to be, right, on the diagonal out here. We're building that outer hexagon, you can see. So similar step, just two more times where you're connecting intersection to intersection. And then on the top horizontal plane, you are skipping the triangle, right? So the line segment looks like it's going behind. And then you're going to do it on the right diagonal as well. from circle divot to circle divot. And then on that bottom right axis, it's another line that goes behind the triangle. So we're leaving the triangle points. And so already you've got some dimensionality with this shape. Okay. Look good. We got it. All right. Leanne, all set? Okay. Thumbs up. Kiori, it looks like you've got it as well. So great. Now what are we doing? Here we go. So some of these line segments are hard to describe. So just take a look at it. We're going to be using the hexagon point and the line segment. So basically line your ruler up on the horizontal plane from hexagon point to hexagon point. That's how to get this one. And then you're just going to draw the line segments on the outsides, right? Just outside of the tetrahedron to the hexagon, small little line segments. Okay. Got that? Don't want to rush. We got it. Okay. Then, so here's our horizontal axis, right? So then we're going to do the diagonal axis, same step. You're going to line your ruler up on the tip of the hexagon to the tip of the hexagon, and then drawing little line segments that match up with each other, but go, you know, skip the center triangle. Okay, we got that axis. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other diagonal, right? So lining up the ruler with the hexagon tip to the hexagon tip and just drawing in those line segments, those outer line segments. All right, got that. So then we're gonna use a hexagon point, and we're gonna connect that to the inside top, the tip of that triangle, right? So hexagon point on the outside, down into the tip of the triangle, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, right? So we're using, hexagon points down into the triangle points, tip of the triangle. So both sides, creating that nice symmetry. And that is our top. That's the top tip of one of the triangles. And now we're going to do it on the bottom right tip of the triangle. Same step, connecting the hexagon point down into the tip of the inner triangle. And doing that on both sides of the bisecting line. And so that's top point. We've just done the bottom right point. Got it, Leanne? I can see you still moving back and forth, so I don't want to. Okay, do you need another second, another minute? It's all right. It's all good to breathe.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got top, right, and then we're going to do the left. And that might be your left and your right. So, you know, we'll just say that we have a mirror. So this is the bottom left. And there again, we have drawn the vector equilibrium, and sort of see it when your brain is used to seeing it. I feel like the vector equilibrium is just grown on me over the years, and I just love it. One of my favorites. Okay, top, left, right. All right, here's that small like diamond segment again, right? This should look a little familiar from the other one. So we're gonna we just drew these two lines, right? So using the two lines we just drew, we're using those intersection points, and this is a similar line segment, right? It's the same measurement. It's going from tip to tip. We're doing that on the upper horizontal, right? And so then we're going to do the same process. We're going to do the bottom left, same step, cutting those diamonds at the tips. Down there, and then we're going to do the other side, right? Top, left, and then, no, that would be top, right, and then left. I'm a little bit upside down, so that's the bottom, and it's the bottom. My God, somebody just put me down. It's fine. You don't even know the day. So this will be your bottom left diagonal. All right, so we've got those same steps, and you can see these little line segments that are starting to create some dimensionality. All right, we got those. Top, bottom, right. Okay. So now we're going to, we keep, like the line that we draw gives us the next intersection point, right? So we just drew those little line segments, and you want to take your ruler and just line it up with those 2 points. This is hard to describe, so just take a look. The intersection that we just made with those little line segments, you're going to do it on the horizontal, and you're just skipping that inner triangle, but as if you were drawing a whole line. You're doing the left and right segments without the triangle, and that's the horizontal axis, right? You can see we're starting to make little triangles everywhere. Okay, got that? By now, your brains are probably a little fuzzy. It's getting a little more like, okay, one step at a time. So here's our horizontal axis. We're going to do that again. This is on the left axis. Same step, connecting the diamond point down and across to the diamond point. And going behind that center triangle. We did horizontal axis. This is the left axis. And then we're going to do it on the diagonal right. Okay. Same step, using the tips of the diamonds, getting a little lost, looking up at the paper, going, yep, I get it goes there and there. And otherwise, you know, tricky to start describing this point to this point and all of it. Mm-hmm. Make it any bigger. There you go. They all lined up. Good, Leanne? Got them?
I think so.
Cool. So then, internal triangle, you're going to use the bisecting lines where they intersect with the triangle, right? So little horizontal segment there, bisecting line to bisecting line. And we are doing a downward facing triangle here. So there it is. I did the 2 steps at the same time. So downward facing triangle, same line segment from bisecting line to bisecting line. Now we're starting to see the different dimensions gained. Right. Got that inner downward facing triangle. All right. Then what are we doing? So same kind of step, 1 iteration up, where you're using those bisecting lines, right? And you're just going to line the ruler up. Basically, you're using the triangle boundary and the bisecting line boundary, and you're just going to draw a line that skips that central segment of the one of the inner triangles. And take your time and find it, no rush. We're doing, you can see the line segments are the equal length every time. That's part of how to know that you're, doing it right, is we're not going any longer than those little line segments. So a little horizontal line. These are the hardest to find, and then it gets a little bit easier after these 3. All right. Thumbs up on that. We got that. Okay. So we've got horizontal. Now we've got this nice pattern going where we're going to do the left diagonal. So using those central bisecting lines where they intersect with the tetrahedron boundary. Watch your arms and elbows. I'm just like, I'm striking this mirror to this lovely flight attendant who just had this like sing-song safety instruction voice. Horizontal, vertical, and then the last vertical is on the diagonal right. It's not highlighted here, but going behind that central triangle, completing that. It's actually the mirror. It's the downward facing triangle that matches the upward facing triangle. Got all of those. All right, it's just a couple more lines now. I think it might even be, well, it's 3 more lines and then we're erasing 3 and then we're done. All right, we got those. Here we go. We're going to, oh, I'm sorry, there's 9 more lines. All right, 1 more line segment here, just as if you were lining your ruler up on the horizontal. You're gonna line them up with the bisecting line and the hexagon boundary, right? So just going right across there using the intersection, just like with the 2D, using the intersection as the stop and start point, and leaving out that large inner triangle. So just those 2 line segments, equidistance on the horizontal, and then surprise, surprise, we're doing that on the right diagonal. So lining your ruler up to the from bisecting line to bisecting line, and then using the line segment on that outer hexagon between the boundary and the inner triangle. Right, so those 2 little line segments, we've got the horizontal and the right axis, and then we're going to do the same thing on the left axis facing upward. It's nice. It gets predictable, right? Back to that where it's like, yes, we've done 1 step, now it's the same step, and then it's the last step. All right, got all 3. Everybody's looking up. Got it. Yep. Good, Leon. Okay, cool. I'm only checking in with you because I've just got thumbs up faster from Kiori and Greta. So I don't mean to single you out. I just want to make sure that we're all
No, it's
together.
okay.
Okay. So last horizontal, lining your ruler up with the outer intersection of the circle and the bisecting line, just cutting all the way across. We're connecting those straggly tips, those lines that are left dangling there. We're going to connect on the horizontal, tip to tip. And then of course, we're doing that on the diagonal. Looks like I go back and forth between doing the left or the right first. There's no rhyme or reason. It was just total impulse. So connecting those points and then same length line segment, right? So it's going from the outer point and then ending on the horizontal. And we did the left axis, and then there is on the right axis, right? So we just completed the triangles. Ah, so gorgeous. Super cool. And then we're going to erase 3 lines, and then we're there. So I want to invite you, you don't have to, but I want to invite you to darken in these 3 lines, right? This coming from the center point, you've got facing up to the right, that'll take that, it's kind of like a 230 point, right? Center, up to the right and left, and then down. And the reason why you want to darken those in is so that it's easier for you to see that you're going to erase the other 3 lines, right? Now, this is a little tricky because what I did was I erased the other 3 lines, but I also erased the entire seed underneath it. So this is what you will have if you want to erase the top vertical segment to the center, the bottom diagonal left segment from the center down to the tip, and then from the center down to the bottom right triangle tip. And if you'd like, you can erase all of the seed underneath. No pressure. You do not have to do that, obviously. But these are all of the line segments for the 3-dimensional 64 star tetrahedron. And I will show you the artwork that I decided to do with this. But I'll let you all finish what you've got going. Is everybody erasing the seed Looks like everybody's sort of erasing the seed. I like it. It just makes the shape pop so much more. Oh my goodness. Yep. This shape actually serves for me as a transport device. In my meditations, it's sort of like what a ship would look like for me. I can get in the center of this geometry because if you think about it, the vector equilibrium is in here, right? And so it's a point of singularity. So if I sit in the center of this geometry, we have infinite possibilities of where to travel. And so if I become pure energy, then I can just, at the speed of consciousness, choose wherever I want to go. And then there I am. And I will show you what I was drawn to do, no pun intended. I don't usually color things in. Leanne, you might have seen this one. You definitely did. Was really like, I don't know, my heart was just so open, and I just saw the geometry just radiating this beautiful green emerald energy. And so I just did some shading and
beautiful.
Yeah, kind of had to do that. Like it was, when the shape or when the art, it's just like, you must do this. It was kind of like that. It was very compelling. And then I use this shape in my meditations, to trip the light fantastic out into the cosmos and visit the other aspects of myself in different star systems that are doing good work there as well. I don't know if any of that made sense to you, but that's sort of how I live my life. So how's everybody doing? Let's do a little go around and a show and tell. And how did that go? I mean, and maybe some thoughts about the 2D versus the 3D, like any, how's your brain feeling? Mine's feeling a little scrambled right now. Just looking at the geometry versus drawing it. Anybody want to start us off with reflections? Show and tell?
I just absolutely loved it.
Awesome. Can we see?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Tilt it down a little. Oh my gosh, look at that thing, is just stunning. It's powerful.
So, I finally get it. It's taken me how many classes and how many visits with you?
There's never enough.
it just I really enjoyed this. I was able to follow along. I can't wait to do it again. Yeah, very wonderful. Great
What do you
way
mean
to
when
end the class.
So fabulous having you always. What do you mean when you say you finally got it? What did you get?
It felt so good. I could hit the points. I got a flow. It made sense. I could see the shapes. It's just taken me a long time to develop that. And so it just feels wonderful. It was fun instead of feeling kind of anxiety trying to, make the marks. So
yeah, that feels like a huge turning point kind of success, where it's a little bit more fun, and you're feeling a little more confident. And my goodness, you've just practiced and played and really made the most of all of it all the time. So I'm so glad that feels online, that's online. Yeah. And there's never too many classes. I have so many friends that really do. They come back, they take the class because it's the geometry, it's the creativity, it's the activation. It's so, it's beyond just like, oh, I'm taking a class. It's just, you're just tapping so many different levels.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you. Oh my goodness. That 64, it looks really strong. That 3D one, it just had a potency to it. So lovely. All right. Greta, Coyote, how is it going? All right, wait, who's gonna win here? All right, who is it? All right, Greta got it first. There we go. Let's see. Hang on, let me spotlight you. Oh, wow. You pull it back just a little bit. Oh my gosh.
More.
Look at that. Look at that. What do you think?
I thought it was easier than the other one we did. And once I figured out like that all these triangles all lined up.
Yeah.
Stuff, then you know, then that helped because I could start, you know, to see the patterns.
Hmm.
But I thought this was easier than the other one, but it's fun. And it's fun to see how you colored it in. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I am such a big fan of shading because I can't just color things in. It just loses the pattern for me. So if I keep if I keep that perspective in there, and even still, I get so impatient with having to like repeat the patterns. But that is beautiful and easier or more challenging. But do you have a resonance with either one more so or less so?
I'm not sure I've seen some of the internal patterns on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And I may take it to like the library and do like a print of it and do it, you know, different ways
Yeah.
because different things on different people's came out. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, I might do that rather than drawing it over and over and over.
I know. Yeah.
Just
Well,
as a-
and Rieko had that tracing paper idea, right? That's kind of a fun way to do it as well. To just and then you can create a bunch of templates, but also a copy machine is wonderful to do that as well. And then don't forget to take a picture of it on your phone because it just looks so cool. And you can just, everybody's
email it
like,
to you.
they're like, what are you doing? You're so cool. The geometry. I was obviously traveling so much. I was just at the airport and I had my necklace on that has like the seed of life and the tetrahedron. He's like, whoa, sacred geometry, right? And you just get to strike up these conversations with people. And it's just I love it. It's like a beacon for similar, minds and hearts. So
It was
very
good.
cool. Yeah, thanks, Greta. Oh, Kaori, how did it turn out? How's it going?
Good. I like this one way better.
Yeah. Oh, so pretty. Mm-hmm.
I could see how the patterns coming along and emerging as, in the process
Mm-hmm.
compared to the other one, like so many lines and like, okay, which point and which point,
Mhm.
make a mistake. This one was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
it's just so nice to already see the dimensionality because you're going, like, you're not dissecting the
Mhm.
shape but going under, so you can already see that this one is above and
Yeah.
something quite satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, from early on, you see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
you
then it
just
just,
feel good and
Mhm.
like keep that feeling,
Yeah.
and then you have this like whoa, boom.
Yep. Poof. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right though. It's so interesting. I don't know, for quite a while, I only did one shape at a time in a class because I felt like people got a little frazzled trying to do both of them. But the most fascinating thing about teaching over time is honestly there is an evolutionary process in the collective. And so things that used to be really hard for like everyone in a class, not just like one person, really I just see it shift over time. And now like things are just seem a little bit easier and faster. And even though there's challenges, it's more maybe it's more of an expanded capacity where everyone's kind of like, yeah, I can do that. And it's less like there's no real obstacle. It's doable. But it is, I love doing them back to back now because you can see the differences. And I like your point about how one is like you're cutting it down and the other one feels like a little bit more like a reveal, a gentle reveal. So
I thought it was really helpful. And I know you said it before, but when you do the second circle directly underneath,
mhm.
it makes, I think, all the shapes go so much better because you don't have to turn your paper at all to see the orientation. And especially with the first one we did tonight, that was particularly, that was significant,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. The orientation. And the other thing is there's the one issue of like, oh, it's a little bit off. But for me, I actually I kind of get a little agitated when it's oriented to the horizon versus the vertical, like the petals being straight up and down. When it's like, it doesn't feel as good. So you'll always see me do this one. But the others are always available as well. So beautiful. There's you've literally twice now just drawn the fundamental structure of the universe. And we've been doing that, over the whole 2 months. And I want to invite any overview, closing thoughts, reflections about like how geometry is showing up in your life, or, overall patterns that you've noticed or growth, and maybe not, but just I want to invite the space to do that if you've noticed anything or loved anything or want something different next time.
Well, I've had a wonderful time. And I have just learned to love the drawing process. I love coming and being online with you, and so I'm going to miss it, but I'll try working a little bit more on my own. But it's been fun. It's been very satisfying. I finally, you have a wonderful way of teaching. It's just taken me a while to catch on. So it's been great. It's been a great journey, and I love it. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad, Leanne. It's just been an honor to have you in classes over the years. I cannot believe that your grandson is 4 years old.
I know it.
I don't know how to do that. Just that marker alone, but it's been so lovely, to also see you over time and how you've just such commitment to it. It's really beautiful how you draw between classes and have so much to report. And, I've just so appreciated your presence. So thank you.
Well, I'll probably be back in the future. So
I hope so. I hope so. I'm tickled when I see that you've registered. Yeah. All right.
I really always liked the symmetry and the way I thought the way that things built throughout the 8 weeks was really helpful and good. And it was a really positive group. And that always makes a class a good class, when you have, you're always really welcoming and supportive, but it's nice when you have a group that is really a nice group and working along and, so yeah, but they built really nicely. And so, and it's nice to hear about, ways that they've been used and some of the significance about them. That part is something that I also have really enjoyed.
Yeah. It's completely different to just draw a shape without the context, especially such powerful shapes. I'm so glad that it's been good for you, because when you started the call, you're like, well, I've done a lot of this before. And I'm like, Jesus, I really want to make this something new for you. So I'm glad that it has stayed interesting and that you've enjoyed the whole thing, even if you've done some of it before.
Well, I like the left brain symmetry and things. And, so that as opposed to the, the chaos and stuff. I think that there's just, a road grounding to it. And I was looking forward to it just because I had done it before. So, it all worked.
Good. Okay. And it's so interesting. I know you didn't get the watercolor this weekend, but it's, have you been watercoloring for a while, or is it a little bit? Okay. I've always heard from people that it's interesting to see how the structure and the geometry influences their art, which is, like we said, watercolor, flowy, sometimes less structure. So even though they don't seem partnered, it's, I'm sure there'll be an interesting influence. So nice to hear about your other, oh man, I'm just realizing there was someone, didn't we have someone in the first 4 classes, and she had a huge project she was working on. I just realized we didn't get to see that. I might be hallucinating and that was a different year. Anyway, thanks, Greta. Kaori, you want to finish us off here?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Quadrivium.
Yeah, I got into geometry and the shapes because of this book.
Mm-hmm.
I read it a lot. It talks about so many things that I didn't expect to read in a geometry book.
Mm-hmm.
And I also got this like ruler and compass book, hoping that I would learn, but well, English is my second language, so it was a little difficult to get into because I didn't study geometry in English to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted to get into this class. So I'm in a group where people talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of open the door by myself.
Yeah.
So looking forward to going back to this book and read because it is really informative and like it's very eye-opening.
Yeah.
Glad that I took your class. I was taking some of the painting classes with PCC and I really enjoyed it. So I just going through all the classes like, oh, what else, more interesting classes to find. And I was like soldering or like woodworking. Well, that's not really for me. And somehow, somewhere I found this class. I was like, why is it not on the art class? I'm so glad it was I forgot which category.
It's in the home and garden section.
Yeah. I was like, it's hardly like it's so far from that subject. But anyway, I was also interested in seeing like who else will be joining this class, and I'm so glad I got to meet all of you.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh, beautiful. It is so rich. I mean, it's part of why I say like I just want to hear everybody's voice because you all are amazing. Like geometry just brings so many amazing people, like fascinating, brilliance. I agree with you. The group is as rich as the drawing. And the quadrivium it's like a Bible. And for English to be your second language and to just sort of jump into the geometry, that's next level application. And that's impressive to me. And gosh, you said something and I was just gonna riff on it. But yeah, I'm so grateful that the class, even though the class is in the home and garden section, people still find it. It fills every semester. So whatever kind of magic happens, it's really wonderful. Darn, I want to remember you said something and it was about the quadrivium and reading the book through a different way and being with people talking about geometry. It's right in there. Might not find it, but
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And we'll do a little shout out. We've got Ben and his kids. It's been wonderful to have him along the journey. And Joni, so lovely to have your presence. And Zabby, miss you. I would say miss you. I know we all show up. And then am I forgetting anybody? I don't think so, because that's those three and you three.
July.
July? Oh no, July was in the first four. I do feel like I'm forgetting someone. Rieko, yes. So wonderful to have everyone on board for these 8 weeks. And thank you all so much. It's such a treat. And I'll send the recording. What I'm going to try to do is send all of the recordings. Oh no, I can't. Have I made these into YouTubes? Have I been doing this right with you guys? I've made them into YouTubes. Okay. Yeah.
Some of them, yeah. I haven't totally checked, but yeah.
I think I have 1 through 6. I have 1 through 6, maybe 7. I think definitely I'll put this one on, but I think what I'm going to do is we will have all 8. I'll send all 8 links again, and then I'll send the PDFs again, just so that you have the whole thing, because there were so many snafus, maybe 1 or 2 got lost, and then you have them all concentrated and can refer back to it. All right. Thank you all so much. It's always a little tricky to say goodbye, but it's been really wonderful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks so
Take
much.
care. Yep. All right. Bye-bye.